That's such a weird looking caterpillar, wow! This caterpillar is insane. Let me show you what they can do.
These guys are very aggressive. Let me show you what happens if I poke it. Poke, ow! Ow! It's attacking me with these red hairs. I don't know if you can see it, but those red hairs here are actually spines. Can you see it? They're like splinters. And if we touch the caterpillar, boom! It's just going to try, ow, attack us like a cobra. Man, they're ferocious. Ow! Oh my god, it's actually biting. Dude, I swear it's biting. Oh my god.
But what's even cooler is the kind of moth that these caterpillars turn into. I introduce you to Grellada imitans, a species of Lappet-Moth from Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bart Coppens, the sexy moth king, and you're watching my online web series MothCycles. And in this series we raise caterpillars from eggs all the way to moths and breed them in captivity. That sure is exciting. You just happen to stumble across the best moth channel on YouTube. Yeah, I know there's more channels who film moths, but let's be honest, most of their content sucks. That's why I exist. Let's start the intro!
Well, hello there, beautiful people. Beautiful, beautiful people. You're probably wondering, what are we looking at right here? Well, this is a petri dish, and in it I had eggs of a very unusual species of moth. Now, when we zoom in, here we can see the eggs. Yep, and the eggs of this species are kind of, well, they have a very nice pattern. They look like mini brown watermelons. Can you see it? However, the real surprise of today is here on the lid. What? Let me show you this. These are the baby caterpillars that are hatching from their eggs. And they are really beautiful. Fantastic. Really fantastic. I'm going to place them in a container because they are babies of a moth that I want to raise in captivity. Baby caterpillars are very fragile, it's very easy to crush them by accident, therefore I like to use a paintbrush to handle them. Use the paintbrush to scoop them up, and then I place them inside of their new container. So just scoop them up. It looks a little bit silly, but it works. It works. Yay. Be careful that none of them escape. Some of them will try to run away. Like here's a little guy. Let's place all of these babies in their new homes. There you go. Oh yes, you are fantastic, you are beautiful, you are my children, and I love and treasure each of you. Let's scoop you up, babies. Oh, moths make me so happy, dude. You have no idea. Okay, scoop all of them up. And we're going to see if we can follow their life cycle.
from egg to moth. That would be quite fantastic if that was possible. That would be fantastic. Let's see, and let's go. Well, there's more eggs left. A lot of them look unhatched, so there could be more babies coming soon. It's best to save these eggs for later. Yeah, I bet there's more of their brothers and sisters hatching soon. Wow, this is amazing. The babies are eating right away. And it looks like they really like oak tree. It's not a surprise though, oak tree is a very good food plant for so many moth species. Oak tree alone sustains hundreds of species, both in the wild and captivity. Wow, fantastic, and look at their furry bodies, their furry legs, the way they behave is fantastic, it's fascinating. You can just see how they're eating, how they're digging into their new food. Well, it does look like they're eating straight away. Usually it takes a few days, but these are immediately eating. I guess they were hungry. And I guess it means they really like oak tree. If you ever get to raise this species, guys, use oak leaves. One thing that I find really annoying is that there is nothing known about this species, so it's hard for me to give cool commentary or interesting facts. There's just so little information about this moth. But hopefully you'll enjoy seeing something that is understudied and hardly known. Because we film obscure things on this channel, don't we? Let's check back. There's not much I can tell you about this species because so little is known about them. But they are a little bit bigger now. It's nothing out of the ordinary. This is a bit of a generalization, of course, but did you know that Lappet-Moths tend to be some of the more slow-growing moths? Medium-sized to large species can often take over 3 months to raise. Patience is definitely required if you want to be a Lappet-Moth breeder. This species is from tropical Africa and they definitely appreciate warmth and humidity. A bit later, this is the second instar. Cool! I raised the first instars in a plastic box. Yeah, the caterpillars are very weird and they grow slowly. So we're gonna have to check every 3 to 4 days, see how they're doing, see if they become bigger. Who knows? Yep, still growing. Still growing. Am I going too far? Let's check back later to see how they are doing. Once again, it's time to see how our babies are doing. What? Looking pretty good down there. I think some of them are starting to shed to instar number 2.
fact, I see some of them already are in star number 2. That is fantastic news. Let's take out some of the old plants and just clean it. It's the routine. Caterpillars love having clean containers. Hygiene is super important for breeding success. So, go, that's a little bit of moisture. But on top of the moisture, some dry paper towels. On top of that, I've had a nice tip from a friend. He told me to try and use some rus, also known as sumac, staghorn sumac. I think it should be Rus stipina. And let's see, on top of that, on top of the caterpillar salad, we will give them some oak leaf. Yay! That's great.
These Lappet-Moths from Africa are just crazy. I don't know what's happening. I'm just going with the flow. So, they are weird animals. Not many people raise them. Not many people write about them or even photograph them. Feels like I'm going in almost blind. Thankfully, I did have some friends who raised these before, so they gave me some tips, some house plants to use. I'm not completely the first, but it's so obscure. I don't know what to say or do. I'm just fidgeting and hope they turn into moths. Yep.
Next, I put back some of the caterpillars. There you go. I see a mix of instar number 1s, number 2s and 3s for some reason. Maybe their growth rate is just kind of like variable. It happens with some species. Oops, now it refuses to focus. Anyway, let's place them in the container. Close-ups I'll make later.
Whoa, this is instar number 3. And now they have such a funky, unusual hairstyle, it's amazing. I switched up their food plants. Right now they are eating some sumac, or rus. Grellada imitans seems to be quite polyphagous in captivity, and they gobble up many plants that I collected for them. Cute! This video is part of my efforts to document the life histories of moths, especially species that are poorly documented. And these are poorly documented. There is virtually zero information about them online. Anyway, let's check back on them a bit later. Bro, they've become beautiful. Now that's a hairstyle I can get behind. Not many people bother to study Lappet-Moths, but I think they are among the most fascinating creatures. Worldwide there are about 2,000 species of them, but they receive way less attention than other large moth families. Look at them, my little babies, I'm so proud of them. They're so cute and precious. Man, I love moths, I love them so much. Soon it's time for a space upgrade, however. They have grown too large for their tiny little enclosures. I'm about to give them a significant upgrade in space. People, if you've seen many of these episodes, you probably know the drill by now. It's the same procedure. Raise the babies in a box. Raise the larger caterpillars in a larger box. Even maybe raise the final instar in a cage. Or an even bigger box. It's time for that upgrade right now. I think this box is getting a bit too small. So this is a good size difference, getting a bigger enclosure. I've started raising them on a 100% diet of sumac or rus. No matter what plants I feed these caterpillars, if I include sumac, that's the plant they eat the most. So to me that signals that's the plant they like the most. So if that's their favorite, why not give them their favorite, right? So makes it easy.
First group of caterpillars going in. If my voice sounds strange, it's because I have COVID at the moment. Nope, not even joking, not even making this up. I did a test and I have COVID at the moment. But that's okay, I'm fine. If you're watching this video, this upload is probably going to be at least 6 months into the future. So by then I'll be cured. By the time these things are moths, I will already be COVID free, of course. But yeah, at the moment, can you hear it? That's the real deal, that's COVID. Took me 2 years to finally get infected, so... Anyway, let's proceed. Since this is a tropical African species, I'm gonna add some nice humidity in there. Let's make it wet, like it's a real rainforest. There you go. Guys, if you rear caterpillars in a plastic box and you want to make it humid, make sure you clean the box a lot, because plastic boxes are great for moisture retention, but maybe a little bit too great. Sometimes mold and bacteria can grow in here, so I try to clean it every few days to keep it manageable. Caterpillars look silly now because they're wet. Their tufts of hair are kind of reminds me of myself when I come out of the shower. That's what my hair looks like. Funny. I think I'm gonna check up on them later, give them some peace and quiet first to settle in their new home. Well, that's it for now. Good enclosure for my babies. As usual, we're gonna check back a few days later. We know the drill.
I felt like at this point the caterpillars became too big to raise in the small boxes, so we do what we always do in MothCycles. Place them to a bigger enclosure. Guys, the Grellada just graduated from tiny box to dirty old cage. Ew. Dirty or not, it will serve its purpose. I think they need more space and ventilation now. So first, I'm gonna open the cage. Secondly, I'm just going to take their box and place it inside soon. But before that, maybe we should make some close-ups, that would be nice. Just see how they're doing. Oh man, they're becoming truly gorgeous. Look at those green hairs. They look like living pieces of lichen or moths that you would see on branches or tree bark. I bet they are perfectly camouflaged in the wild. The caterpillars, however, do have spiny hairs that can hurt you if you touch them too much. So we gotta handle them carefully. Look closely, this is their new enclosure, guys. People with keen observation skills will have noticed I stopped using oak tree for some reason. Instead I have resorted to using staghorn sumac or Rustipina. Why? Because it's a great, underrated and undervalued food plant in my opinion. A lot of African moths, especially the more polyphagous ones, have an appetite for Anacardiacea plants. So what's the natural food plant for this species? Well, I'm actually not sure. I can barely find any books, any references, any information on this species. Like, it's embarrassing for me to make this video because I literally cannot tell you much about them. So little is known. Thanks for watching, guys. Love you. I love how on the internet there's a damn public for hours long moth videos. That's the power of the internet. Anyway, I'm gonna check up on the Grellada imitans. You have to be careful because the larvae, they have spines and they're aggressive. Sometimes they'll even bite. I'm not kidding. It's very rare for caterpillars to bite defensively, but this is one of those species that actually can. I know it sounds crazy. Let's carefully check how they're doing in their enclosure. Just take all the stuff out for a second. Oof. Not easy.
These guys are very aggressive. Let me show you what happens if I poke it. Poke, ow! Ow! It's attacking me with these red hairs. I don't know if you can see it, but those red hairs here are actually spines. Can you see it? They're like splinters. And if we touch the caterpillar, boom! It's just going to try and, ow, attack us like a cobra. Man, they're ferocious. Ow! Oh my god, it's actually biting. Dude, I swear it's biting. Oh my god. So aggressive. Ah, look! It's actually biting! Wow! Man, it's the most aggressive caterpillars I ever raised. They're so weird.
The cool thing about this species is their variety. Each of the caterpillars have slightly different colors if you look closely. Some are more brown and others have patches of white and greenish hairs. It is quite cool. Just take a moment to appreciate these marvels of nature. This YouTube channel exists to show people the amazing diversity of nature and how complex insects can be. In particular, it's the unfathomable diversity that is hard to show in one video, but it becomes clear the more species that I film. I could do this for a lifetime and still be filming species I never filmed before on a regular basis. There are more cocoons! Yay guys, we're succeeding!
This one has green hairs. It looks like it's covered in moss. What's really awesome about this species is they have a really cool variation in color. Some of them are white, some of them are brown, some of them are green. Such cool caterpillars, really.
Something that you guys should understand is that the caterpillars of Lappet-Moths can be highly aggressive. They are species that are willing to defend themselves, which is interesting, because most of the caterpillars I rear on my channel are kind of peaceful. These guys are not peaceful. If you touch them, they will bite, they will attack, they will try to grab you and bite or bash you with their stinging hairs. Oof. And as you can see, they are forming these interesting hairy colonies here on the branches. It's kind of like they are living moss. These caterpillars just have so many ways to protect themselves. Also, the camouflage is excellent on them. Just look at it. What a cool species, isn't it? Wow, look at it. How many of them can you count? I should shave my stupid mustache off. Okay, that was random. Let's talk about the caterpillars. Just enjoy them for a second. Oh. Wow. It's like the branch itself grew hair. Let's put you guys here as well. Great.
Great camouflage, man. If they weren't walking around, I wouldn't even see them. If they decide to sit still, they would be totally camouflaged right now. Gorgeous though. Those hairs on their side actually improve their camouflage a lot, you know, because it obscures the outline of the animal. So they blend into the environment perfectly. I think if we wait a little bit, they will stop walking. That's just fantastic though. Beautiful.
Now guys, Lappet-Moths are a fantastic group of moths to breed and study. Some species can be really big and colorful and have crazy caterpillars. Despite that, they are not really popular in the moth breeding community. It's more rare to see people breed Lappet-Moths, you know? Like 90% of the people are just breeding silk moths. It's always Saturnidae, silk moth. You'll see some people who raise hawk moths from time to time. But Lappets, they are less popular. And that's a shame. There should be more people trying to, you know, become good at breeding them. They are their own unique family, they are special. So, and they are fascinating, and less is known about them than silk moths. And that's the most interesting part. Because if you want to raise moths and discover something new, it's actually a better idea to breed tropical Lappet-Moths than it is to breed silk moths. Because for most silk moths, not all of them, there's still a lot of silk moths with unknown life cycles. But it's more scarce than Lappet-Moths with unknown life cycles. So I'm gonna put them back. They seem to be growing well so far, that's all I can say. Great. Oh look, they're sitting still now. They were sitting still. But now you can see how well the camouflage really works. Oh damn, you're disturbing it. Stop moving. Okay, so these two caterpillars are sitting still, and now you can see how excellent that camouflage is. Like, they're almost totally invincible. They just melt into the background so perfectly, it's crazy. It is crazy, my friends. Wow. Alright, I'm gonna put them back into the cage. Righty then. Yep, and they are back in their enclosure. Fantastic. Hope they grow well. I think they should be in the final instar, so in a few weeks they should make some cocoons. Look at how variable these guys are. It's totally the same species. Two totally different colors. Crazy, huh? Ah, they kind of sting. Now let's see how some of the, or let's zoom out, some of the Palastica are doing. What's really cool is they're growing well, and they're, I know I've shown you this before, but they're super variable. Look, this one is white, right? Like this one is almost gray and white. But if we look around, here we see one that's almost brown and green. Can you see the green accents? It kind of looks like moss, doesn't it? Such big caterpillars, big aggressive stingy caterpillars, and each of them just have totally different forms. So here's kind of like the white pale form. How about this one? This is just crazy, huh? Look at that. Again, this one is more, can you see the green that it has? Green accents. If you look very closely, you'll see the green hairs. So that's really cool. I've never had caterpillars with so many variations. It's like each caterpillar is just totally unique. And I have a lot of them, but it's difficult to show. They don't really want to cooperate. When they're sitting on a stick like this, they're just being camouflaged. And it's hard to take them off. But here's just various larvae of the Palastica. Wow. To me it's fascinating how many color forms they have. You do have to be careful, the spines are not a joke. Like they have stinging spines and they hurt if you touch them. They're a mildly toxic venomous species. So, wow. So here's where I keep most of them. What's interesting is the caterpillars like to sleep during the day, so I give them toilet rolls. As you can see, there's even some Palastica caterpillars in it.
If we look closely, see? So during the day they do like to hide sometimes in a dark place and sleep until it's dark. They are definitely nocturnal animals most of the time. Just look at that. Now their camouflage looks silly right now when it's sitting on a toilet roll. But when they're like sitting on a stick against wood, like this, camouflage is impeccable. And the hairs on their side, it obscures the edge of the larva and just causes them to completely blend into their surroundings. It's actually quite brilliant. It is a brilliant species. Lappet-Moths in general are a pretty nice family to raise in captivity. They can be highly fascinating and interesting. I've always wanted to have more Lappet-Moths on my YouTube channel, so right now I'm working on it. Here's the caterpillar I showed you before. It's probably one of the largest that we have right now. This one is really nice. I have one that's almost like white silverish. It's called, I like to call the pale form. Very beautiful. Very nice. Wow. So here they're currently eating some oak tree. The things that I'm feeding them are incredibly diverse. I found out that they eat almost anything. Like they will eat oak tree, they'll eat... I don't think they like sweet gum though, but they will like cherry, they will like willow, they'll like oak tree, they'll like bramble. Even rus or sumac is accepted by them. As you can see, this one is actually eating right now. You can see it. See, it's eating. Yum yum. They've been growing for the past few months. In the beginning I had some losses, but the large larvae are doing very well now with no losses. I'm not sure why I had some losses among the babies, but maybe that's good. You don't want to raise too many. There you go. If we just here look on these sticks, we see a variety of larvae sitting on them. See that? Very fascinating. Very fascinating. I'm not sure how big these are gonna get. It's been a while since I raised them, but I think they're really approaching the final instar, to be honest. I think some of them are already in the final instar. It really must be. But yeah, it's a lovely and strange species. There is some good news apart from the fact I'm wearing a moth t-shirt and I'm getting fat. Oh wait, I've always been fat. Don't worry. But I found a cocoon. Finally the caterpillar started making cocoons and I want to show you that. Hey beautiful people, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see how the Grellada imitans are doing. It's not every day that we have the life cycle of a freaking Lappet-Moth from Africa. That's crazy and it's unusual. So here they are on the oak tree. Don't know if you can see them. There's plenty of them still, as you can see.
feeding away on the leaves. Don't know how many we have, but there's plenty. There's plenty of caterpillars for all to see. Yeah, they're really hungry, they're feeding. That's good. Recently my country had a heat wave and they seem to appreciate it. Makes sense since I suppose they're from a warm climate. But I have a really cool update for you guys. You see, in their cage I noticed there was a cocoon. And I'm going to harvest it. Let's be careful because the cocoons of some Lappet-Moths are dangerous and filled with toxic spines. Oh, it seems that this one is okay. There you go. This is our first cocoon of Grellada imitans. This species spins a very contemporary cocoon with very soft silk. It isn't hard at all, it's very transparent. There's not even that much silk. But that's the good news, because when we keep this cocoon on room temp, thinking about a week or 4 or 5, if we keep it really warm, a moth is going to come out. So that's when we're going to see our first adult Grellada imitans. Now the rest are still caterpillars and are still feeding. But it's only a matter of time. When the first moth starts spinning the cocoons, it means you're not very far away from success. So that's cool, man. I am actually quite happy with this. This species is just so weird and different, eh? Guess this is why my channel should have more Lappet-Moths. It's totally different than the Saturnids I always post. Totally different caterpillars, different behaviors. There's a whole world out there of Lappet-Moths. There you go. Seems like they're doing pretty well. That's going to be the second MothCycles episode about a Lappet-Moth species. It's about time. So far we only had the one on Trabala Vishnu. One regret that I have on this channel is I give Saturnid moths way too much attention. Too much, you know? I mean, they're my favorites, they're my specialism, and they're what I'm the most knowledgeable about. I'm kind of famous for them, to be honest, but I also want this channel to show diversity, and some families are kind of missing. Also on that list, maybe stuff like noctuid moths, the Noctuidae. I think I should raise some species for MothCycles as well, you know, they are very underrepresented right now. It's starting to become almost exclusively a silk moth channel. That's not good. We need more diversity, more species. So I'm working to improve that. Right, people, we have an emergency meeting because the caterpillars have eaten literally all their food. See? This is all that there is left. Oops. So we're gonna want to replace it ASAP. Because caterpillars, if there's one thing that's bad for caterpillars, that's running out of food. These guys have to eat constantly. So here's the new food. A lot of oak for them. That's great. Let's see. Let's put it in. There you go. I hope you guys enjoy it. You guys are like living moths, aren't you? Oh, that's great, eh? That is great. Not very long before, well, they're already cocooning, most of them, so I think maybe 1.5 more week. Most of them are in the cocoons. Just take a good look at them right now, because this is one of the last times we're gonna see them. Look how they're all bunched up here. So strange, huh? Lappet-Moths are awesome. You know what's funny? There's not many breeders who specialize in Lappet-Moths. We kind of need more people to do so, you know. It's like there's hundreds of people who are raising saturniids, but if you raise a lot of Lappet-Moths, you can actually very easily discover new things, because they are more badly documented than silk moths. So some of them, there's not even pages or websites about them on the internet that are dedicated to them. It's very rare to see such a thing. There are some books and websites, but it's very limited. So that would benefit them. Cool, huh? I also noticed I put some of these cardboard tubes in their enclosure because they like to hide during the day. So, but I noticed one caterpillar has made a cocoon inside of this. Can you see it? Here's a cocoon. So we're gonna take it out. This is our second cocoon, boys. This is a second caterpillar that has quote unquote transformed. So yeah, the more the merrier, isn't it? Let me take it out for a second. Ugh, it's covered in itchy hair. Very typical. Here you go, prepupal caterpillar and the cocoon. So I'm gonna show it to you later. And obviously when they turn into moths as well. There you go. Just a quickie today, because I've shown you the larva so many times. But yeah, just had to show you this update. Well, the caterpillars are still feeding, but we have the first cocoon. Interestingly, the cocoons hatch super fast, sometimes in 3 to 4 weeks or less. I didn't even have the chance to film me taking care of the cocoons and incubating them, because the moths came out in like 3 weeks, and I didn't expect these big moths to have such a short development time in the pupa. I was caught off guard. But it's good news because it means I can show you moths. And the first one that came out is a fat female. Now what's interesting is the first female became a moth, while some of the latest caterpillars were still feeding and eating. So that's crazy. Let me show you. Guys, I was doing a little routine checkup here for my caterpillars of Grellada imitans. Until I noticed the cocoon that we found earlier, it's the first cocoon, had a little problem. You see, it's very light. There's nothing inside of it. Something came out of its cocoon. I present you the first moth of tada, Grellada imitans. Now, I think this little insect needs a bit of a close-up to show you really how cool it is, because this is not a good angle, because now we are just seeing its butt. Look. Well, here you go, folks. Here it is. So it's crazy because the caterpillars haven't even finished growing yet, and we already have the first moth out. That's a bit strange if you ask me. But it's not unusual for Lappet-Moths. Since Lasiocampidae, Lappet-Moths, they can actually have very long development times as larvae, but very short development times in the pupa.
Like, I've raised some species of Lappet-Moth that take like 5 to 6 months to raise as caterpillars, and then the pupa it takes like 3 weeks. And if one caterpillar is only a little bit slower, you'll get adults out while some of the larvae are still in the caterpillar stage. Still is rather interesting. It's a nice species, isn't it? Like, so here I present you Grellada imitans. What a strange creature, isn't it?
This species is definitely not the most colorful species that I've raised. It's just grey, brown. Despite that fact, I think it's quite beautiful. It's something about the shape and its pattern. Like, look at that. It kind of looks like a seed pod, right? I mean, it's obviously a moth since it's sitting on my hand. But if this was like sitting in a tree, would you notice it? Like, this kind of looks like a dead leaf or a seed pod. Its camouflage is quite excellent. And I believe it's a female. And crazy thing is, we still have caterpillars here. Like, the moths are coming out well, the caterpillars are still growing. That's kind of weird. So weird. Let me show you more close-ups, because this is a very strange species. Well, there she is. The female of the African Lappet-Moth Grellada imitans. The females are much larger than the males. And I'm surprised the female hatched first. She's quite well camouflaged and looks like a dead leaf. Lappet-Moths have a short lifespan and cannot feed. Females of this species live for about 10 days. The males of this species are weird looking, aren't they? A newbie would confuse them with a species of hawk moth, to be honest. Males and females of Lappet-Moths can look radically different.
Now guys, I am happy that for this episode that we chose a species of Lappet-Moth, because I've raised so many Saturnid silk moths, it was getting a little bit repetitive. And this is just the weird species that I wanted, you know. I want more variation of moths in MothCycles. And this episode of MothCycles, it brings the variation, you know. It's pretty, it's unusual. Right, it's not something that we see on my channel, not in MothCycles very often. We done one episode so far, I think, about a Lappet-Moth, but that was about it. The Trabala Vishnu, the rose myrtle Lappet-Moth. But look at how cool this creature is. Its legs. It's really awesome. I guess that what it means is that I can show you the caterpillar, the cocoon and the moth at the same time. Well, I guess that what it means is I can show you the moth, the caterpillar and the cocoon at the same time. That's kind of cool to have the whole life cycle in one frame. Even though the animals are not really interested in sitting still, or so it seems. There you go. Moth, caterpillar and cocoon. Oh yeah, here's some water. Cool, huh? Well, this guy's already escaping. He doesn't really care, so it seems. So weird, huh? One thing is for sure, the caterpillars, they take a long time to grow. But it's a relief that the time that the moth spends in the cocoon is very short. I think this female moth that's sitting here on my hand, I think she spent about, 4 weeks. 4 weeks in the cocoon. To me that's a quite short time, 4 weeks for a moth that's this large, right? It's a good development time. It is a gorgeous species though, it's just, I do think the caterpillars are more fascinating somehow than the moths, like just their weird hairs and their weird color and shape. Just looks like some ancient titan or something. I don't know. An ancient evil has arisen from the seafloor. When I hear that sentence, I think of a creature like this. Something weird and old and hairy and mossy. Such a strange thing. Caterpillars are gorgeous. I love biodiversity and how caterpillars come in amazing colors. They pretty much come in every imaginable color and shape and size. And there's even a lot of caterpillars that have not been documented or photographed, because in the tropical regions of this world, I estimate I think about 80% of the life cycles of most of the moths in like tropical rainforest are unknown to science. That's really crazy if you ask me. Because this kind of stuff, these animals do deserve conservation. They do deserve attention. They are important for the environment. Moths have very important ecosystems. Moths have a very important role in ecosystems as food for insectivores like bats, birds, rodents and such. Moths can also be in some cases pollinators and defoliators. Believe it or not, for the health of forests, sometimes pests and defoliators are also important. You know, they regulate the vegetation, they manage the vegetation. So from anything between being pollinators, being food for other insects, to influencing the vegetation as a whole, and being indicators, you know, they're like indicator species. Some of them have very specific needs, telling you, looking at what species of moths and butterflies live in a forest will tell you a lot about the quality of the forest and surrounding regions and how much development there is going on, you know. Yeah. Whoop. So silly. So awesome. I love them, and this is why my channel exists. I want to promote these animals. No, I know they are not very popular. I know most people don't care about them and don't care about my channel for that reason, because like, who cares about moths, right? They're just stupid animals. They're just these brown things that fly in your face and eat clothes, right? Well, I guess I just hope that my influence will move people away from these dumb, stereotypical, preconceived notions, you know? Yeah, I'm gonna put them back.
Well, folks, that's all for now. I'm going to keep this female in an enclosure for a while and just hope that a male is going to pop out anytime soon. Point of breeding moths is to produce more of them if we can. So, and this female, she needs a male to do the sexy time with. And then her eggs will be fertile and we have a new generation of babies. Yep. Guess what? I have more cocoons. Many of the caterpillars started cocooning. Yeah, let's collect those.
Alright, these Grellada are taking ages. Why am I surprised though? Ah, finally, more cocoons. I shouldn't be surprised because Lappet-Moths generally take ages to rear, generally speaking. Much longer than stuff like hawk moths and silk moths. Oh! Yay! 2 new cocoons! Can you see them? That's good. Oh, I'm happy. Finally we made some progress. I feel like these caterpillars were lasting forever. Yeah, let's get the cocoons out of here. Oh nice, there's a already healthy pupa on the inside. Can you see it? It's the pupa, don't worry. Opening the cocoon does not hurt it. I know how to take care of the pupa. There you go. More cocoons I see in the back. Let's just take everything out. Oh, finally. Finally, I'm happy. This is what I really wanted. Guys, sorry for the excitement, okay? It's just that raising the caterpillars has taken so much time. I've grown a little bit impatient, so I'm glad when I finally get to the stage where you have cocoons. So, take a look. Take a look, finally. Finally. Here's the cocoons. We have 1, 2, Yes, 3. What is it? 4, 5 new cocoons. That's great, that's great. Let me put them away in a special enclosure. Now, despite all of this, it does seem we have 2 caterpillars left. Only 2. So, here's 1 and here's number 2. Can you see them, guys? It's a bit difficult. Yeah, they're visible, right? So, caterpillar 1. Caterpillar 2. See that? It's cool, huh? Those are the only 2 we have left because the rest are now in the cocoon stage. So let's hope these 2 hurry up and spin their cocoons soon. So that would be nice. You know, it would be nice to finish the rearing finally. It's been a long time. The male of this species looks totally different and he looks crazy. Crazy. I want to show you because the male hatched. Let's play the segment. Man, it's sunny today. Ew. Sun. Dang. I need to move to the shade or not. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is... let's hope that the clouds will rescue me. I see a cloud going towards the sun. Oh, I'm dying. There has been another update. And that update is that, well, we found many new cocoons today, didn't we? But that's not the only thing that happened because I found a male. I'll show you a close-up of the male because the male of this species is actually kind of small. But what's unfortunate is the female is dead. The female lived for about a week. But it took longer than a week for the first male to appear. That's unfortunate. They seem to be a little bit desynchronized, but it's just the first 2 individuals, so there's going to be more opportunities to pair them. Oh, the sun is driving me crazy. Let me show you a close-up. So the male of this species of Lappet-Moth, it almost looks like a hawk moth, doesn't it? I know how some newbies, how some beginners could confuse this moth with a species of hawk moth. And what's whoa! Yeah, so this species, it likes to freak out suddenly. And it's going towards my foot. Hello, YouTube feed. Oh man. So when they're handled, as you can see, they can go absolutely crazy. I hope it calms down. Well, there you go. That's what they do when they become angry. Dang. Really had to just rub all of your scales off, hadn't you? Anyway, the males of this species are wild. They can play dead and they just freak out absolutely just like that. It's a very unusual moth. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have another male. And I swear to God, this time I'm going to be gentle with it. Because the last time it destroyed itself instantly by freaking out. We should touch it very carefully, if not at all. But I do want to offer you one close-up of this strange species. Just look at it. It's very strange, huh, for a Lappet-Moth. So the males of this species have a very long abdomen. It seems to be longer than their wings even, which is quite odd if you ask me. And like I said before, to the untrained eye, it would even appear to be a hawk moth, I think. If you are not very knowledgeable about moths and their families, you may see this and think, wow, this could be a hawk moth, isn't it? They're really strange of a species. Caterpillars are a bit weird. The moths are also a bit weird. Just look at it. Kinda looks like a squirrel with such a long tail, huh? Very strange, very weird.
Now, as we can see, the males of this species are very strange. First of all, their abdomen is longer than their wings. And it kind of sticks out, doesn't it? Look at that weird abdomen, it's very long, it's almost like a tail. In some way it reminds me of a squirrel, you know? It reminds me of the long tails that squirrels use to balance when they climb trees. It's very funny. You kind of wonder why that is, you know? Maybe it's because, I don't know. Maybe it kind of helps the camouflage. It does make the moth look kind of like a seed pod or something. Can you see it? This camera stop focusing on my dirty little face. Damn it! It's blurry. Focus, focus. Let me readjust the zoom. Damn it! Camera, please work with me. Stop focusing on my eyes. Face detection on this camera is annoying. You know what? Let me just turn the camera around then. Whee! Wow, right now we're looking at the ground. This is golden awesome content, I know. That's better, that's better. Just look at it. This is just so weird. Look, it's so strange, people. Have you ever seen a moth with such a strangely long abdomen? That's cool, right? It's a really kind of cool species of Lappet-Moth. You don't see this one very often in captivity. It's such a strange creature, isn't it? It's such a shame that I don't have any females right now, you know. It's kind of really annoying. Why do the males have to come out after the females have literally died? I do feel like we should put it back soon because the moth is showing signs of wanting to fly away. And that's a bad idea. We don't let non-native species escape here on this channel. That's a bad thing. But very strange, very cool, isn't it? Very weird. Yeah, you weirdo. You weirdo with a long abdomen. I'm gonna call you a flying squirrel because that's what you are. You're a flying squirrel. Yeah, don't worry, it's now back in the enclosure, so if it flies, it's not going to be an issue. What is an issue is my camera keeps focusing on the background. I need a new camera. This one's like 3 years old at this point. It's gonna break down, it's old. I use it intensively almost every day. Expensive camera though. There you guys go. Very strange, huh? Get those markings on its thorax. Those cute stripes. And the antenna really give it away that this is a Lappet-Moth, a Lasiocampidae, and not a hawk moth. That is how you can distinguish them, because hawk moths and Lappet-Moths, oh, there you go, have different kind of wings. Alright, let's leave this one alone for now. Until maybe a female is finally going to hatch. That would be nice. We're gonna need a female. So let's hope this one doesn't die single. It's frustrating that so far they haven't really been emerging in a good synchronized way. The female unfortunately is dead. So one of the most frustrating things about moths is getting the males and females to come out at the same time. They live for a short time, and if males are only a few weeks later than the female, then they're not going to be able to mate. But she's dead, don't worry, because I just broke the moth apart. This is literally a dead moth. For some reason my camera doesn't want to focus. Focus, camera. See, she's dead and dried out. That sucks. So now the male that's gonna come out is not going to have something to mate with. Frustrating. Ladies and gentlemen, I have some entomological news. The old couple of moths is almost dead. But I have good news, because today, tada, it's gonna fly away. A fresh new male and female emerged. Oh, they're flying away at the same time. So we have two couples out now, two males. 2 females. Very beautiful, very awesome, isn't it? And that's good news, because I can finally use the wingspan board on this fresh couple. The wingspan board is what I use to make close-ups. And you can easily see their size, their wingspan, because each square on this board is 1 centimeter. Wow, the females of this species are big, aren't they? So this is Grellada imitans. This crazy tropical African moth is found in the countries of Angola, Cameroon, Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Kenya, Nigeria, Rwanda, Tanzania and Uganda, and perhaps more. They are from the Lappet-Moth family, a relatively large family with about 2,000 species found worldwide, known as the eggers or the Lappet-Moths, and many of their life cycles are unknown to science. By rearing them, it can be easy to discover new life cycles. Males are often much smaller than the females, and Lappet-Moths typically do not feed as adults. In total, however, we have 1 very old male. This is the old male. As you can see, his wings are very torn. This male is not going to live very long. But on top of that, the second female tried to escape. Let's take her for a second. Sorry. So here's... Whoa, oh no. 2 males, 2 females. I think it's time to put them in a cage. They don't want to be handled very much. I mean, they're moths. Wow. Very nice size on this new female. Very big. Wow. Let's put them in a cage so that they too can pair. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the show, my channel is 100% demonetized by YouTube, alright? The reason I have the time to make these videos is because of your generous crowdfunding and donations. Have to throw that out there. Yeah, let's put all of them in the cage now. Wrestling moths is not my favorite hobby. Whoa, man. So let's put the old male in here. I don't know if the old female still is gonna lay eggs, but just to be sure, I'm gonna put her in there too. And of course our star of the show, which is the new male who just came out. Man, this species looks so much like a hawk moth. Sorry for the terrible lighting. Right now we're really filming indoors because it's dark outdoors and raining, so we have to use the indoor lighting, which I don't like. It looks bad. I wish I could afford like a studio for my channel. Anyway, pretty sure that these giants are gonna pair. So there you go. Very big female. That's it. Let's skip time. Wow, ladies and gentlemen. I had no chance to observe a pairing. I have no idea if the moths even paired in the first place. No clue, no idea. But I just collected the eggs and incubated them to see what happens. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, alright. After all this time, I finally got what I wanted. Finally, I have a male and a female at the same time. This morning I woke up and I found that this male and this female came out of their cocoons at the same day, at the same time. It doesn't get better than that. So our chances of pairing them finally are here. Now, as you can see, the male and female, look at the radical size difference between the two. Now you can see the male directly next to the female, and as you can see, the male is at least 2 times smaller. This extreme size difference is normal for moths,
but especially for the Lasiocampidae, the Lappet-Moth family, it tends to be more extreme. Oh. As you can see, the female is a bit feisty. She's a bit crazy, dare I say. But she's also beautiful. This is a really cool Lappet-Moth. You have to appreciate their slender wings. Large body size. The male is just chilling out here, pretending to be dead. Wow. Very cool. Very awesome. Whoa. Yeah, the female is going a bit mad here. I think she prefers to hang like this. Both of them are beauties in their own respects. As you can see, female is very large, big body. She has also large segments here, can you see it? Very beautiful, very nice. Lappet-Moths are really cool, guys. They don't get enough attention. Most people are just breeding Saturnids, Saturnids, Saturnids. Try something new. Try different families of moths. Wow. The male and female of the African Lappet-Moth Grellada imitans. Well, feast your eyes on it for a few seconds, because I'm going to put them away. Alright, that's it. I'm going to place both of them in one cage, and hopefully tonight the male will locate the female and they will have a pairing. That's how you do it. In this cage they can probably pair very easily. Alright people, sorry if there's noise. They're doing construction work near my home, it's very annoying. But the male and female of Grellada imitans have been in the same cage for several days. And I noticed the female has laid eggs, so then there's a chance that they're fertile, because she has been with a male. So I have a petri dish here and I hope to collect the eggs of this unusual moth. Let's take the cam. Whoop! That was fast. Whoop, yes. So here in the corner of the cage, you see a lot of eggs. Can you see them? Tiny, round, little eggs. And here we have the male on the left. Male looks old and kind of worn out, but he's still alive. And the female, she is in a great shape as well. Let me show you. This is the female. See that? Our lovely little female, and she has laid a lot of eggs. So I'm just collecting the eggs right now. I'm just using my fingers, scooping them up, placing them in a petri dish. There you go. Our couple is becoming older, but yep, they are still very much alive. Highly interesting stuff, highly interesting species, very cool. Do you guys think it's very cool? I think so. Anyway, let's hope that the eggs they laid are viable. Alright people, so this is our female. Very hairy, very round, as you can see. Alright ladies and gentlemen, here's our female. Very hairy, very round, very cute. And even as of right now, while I'm filming her, she's laying eggs. If you're wondering what she's doing here with this abdomen, this is literally egg laying behavior. Can you see that? That's so weird. I hope she doesn't lay eggs on herself. The female of this species is quite beautiful. It's really an unusual species, isn't it? And if we zoom out, we see that this same female here has laid a lot of eggs. Like, this is all the same eggs from one female. And this is what I just collected. Now the eggs of this species are very nice. They're like tiny little watermelons. Can you see the markings? Very cute eggs with very nice markings on it. Wow. Really interesting and unusual, don't you think? Great, 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 great. Now let's zoom out then. Yes, you're a very nice moth. Unfortunately, this female, I have to take her out of the petri dish, of course. But these eggs, I'm going to incubate these at room temperature, and if they are fertile, if the male and female have mated, in about 2 weeks' time I will have many small baby caterpillars for the next generation of insects.
Guess what? After I collected the eggs, I had baby caterpillars. Oh, I want to show you. It worked. 2 days later we had babies. We completed the life cycle, homies. Life cycle completed. We still don't know much about the species though. And that means the life cycle is over. That's right. Wow guys, and this is the end of the life cycle. It was a crazy experience. Grellada imitans is an awesome tropical African insect. Can you imagine how many moths there are in the rainforest in Africa that nobody knows about? I really like how they look like little sticks when they sit still. The camouflage is impeccable and the female kind of looks like a leaf. The larvae have a lot of personality, you know, they are very camouflaged but also striking and very defensive. Anyway, another life cycle completed. Now at the end of MothCycles we usually have an educational segment, a small presentation where I talk to you about the species and some of their relatives. Let's play it. This is so embarrassing. Usually I have a presentation in MothCycles, but there's just nothing I can tell you about this species. There is so little information. But I can tell you a little bit about African Lappet-Moths, and let's see if there's any information about Grellada imitans. First, to be honest, this is going to be a short one. This video is going to be the top search result for this species on the internet probably. The species is really just that obscure. But today we are talking about the species of Lappet-Moth. And it's worth pointing out that it's a family of about 2000 species, the Lasiocampidae. But about most species we really don't know much. Especially the life cycles and ecology of a lot of species are unrecorded, so it's super worth to raise them and make good pictures and observations. Grellada imitans. So this is Grellada imitans. I colored the countries they were reported in red. And this crazy tropical African moth is found in the countries of Angola, Cameroon, Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Kenya, Nigeria, Rwanda, Tanzania and Uganda. And perhaps it's found in more countries too. Who knows, it could be data deficient. More people need to go out and record moths in my opinion. I could tell you more, but honestly, very little is known about it and it drives me crazy. What plants do they eat in the wild? What makes this species remarkable? What is their flight time? I am not sure, I don't know, and I don't have enough sources. Let this video be a reminder of the fact that moths are completely understudied creatures. There's a lot of species out there on which there is very little documentation or data in general. Still here? Still enjoying the video? Great. My mission is to educate the world about insects. The problem is, insects are some of the most important animals. Oh yeah, of course the wind starts blowing just when I'm talking. Insects are some of the most important animals for any terrestrial ecosystem. Insects pollinate, yeah? They pollinate most of the food that you eat. Fruits, vegetables. Insects improve the quality of the soil and the nutrients. Insects are food for birds, for bats, for amphibians, for reptiles and even many mammals. Think about rodents, for example. They love to snack on caterpillars or grasshoppers. So there are so many animals who rely on insects. from anteaters to small owl species and even fish. The problem is they don't get much attention online. And my channel tries to change the mindset and show people how cool the life cycles of insects are. Now I'm specialized in butterflies and moths, so most of my videos are going to be butterfly and moth related, of course. Last but not least, YouTube permanently demonetized my channel. I don't make money from my videos, I don't. Well, that's not true. The only money I make from YouTube is what people donate to my channel. Of course, I am not entitled to anything just for making videos, absolutely not. However, if you like the show and if you believe in my mission, consider tipping or donating or becoming a member of my Patreon. It greatly helps. All the free time and equipment that I use to edit and film videos is all crowdfunded. It's all donations. I also have a Redbubble store where I sell some merchandise that I designed myself. So feel free to check it out. Last but not least, if we hit certain goals on Patreon, I will film special life cycles for you. For example, we are very close to hitting the goal where I make the life cycle of the small emperor moth, Saturnia pavonia. If you want to see that happen, become a member. See you guys next time. Let's play the credits.